Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. In this episode, we are going to be showing footage in Central Park, New York City on a Onewheel. My wife and I recently had the chance to go to New York City, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of walking, and so I wanted to bring my Onewheel. And on this episode, I'm just going to show footage from our Central Park adventures. So this is the first day in Central Park. I woke up early. My wife was still sleeping. I snuck out of the hotel room, hopped onto my Onewheel, and went to Central Park. And in Central Park, I quickly learned that there are these walking, running, biking trails around the perimeter of the park. And these trails, or this road, was mainly what I stuck to, and they're in good condition for the most part, and I had no problems navigating these trails. You go early enough, as I am here. It's probably around 7 o'clock in the morning, and you won't see much traffic, and so that was a big advantage. Number one, no traffic or low traffic. Number two, I didn't feel like I was ditching out on my wife because she was still sleeping in the hotel room. So I was cruising in Central Park, and the other thing I learned is the trails that go into the park, that is mainly for foot traffic. And so you can try going on your Onewheel on these trails, these paths into the park, but you may get some looks. Well, you'll get looks anyway because you're on a Onewheel, and people will think you're some space traveler, some time traveler from the future. But I think you may get some looks from people saying, well, you should probably be walking that thing. I didn't have any problems. I went really slow, about the speed of foot traffic, but I think to be on the safe side, if you see signs that say no bicycling, I think that also pertains to one-wheeling as well. But take that for what you will. And so here I am, kind of cruising around the park, having a great time. You'll also notice that I don't have a fender on my Onewheel. If you follow me on my website, oneradwheel.com, or if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm a big fan of the fender. Keeps you dry, keeps rocks and dirt out of your shoes, keeps your pants clean. But here I am with no fender, and this was actually a rainy morning as well, and so it was quite wet. But the reason why I didn't have a fender is because in order to fly, the only bag I had, and here's a look of all the rocks and stuff that got thrown up onto the board because there's no fender. Nonetheless, it was still a great time. But back to what I was saying, without a fender, because the bag that I had was just big enough to fit the Onewheel without a fender, so I had to take off a fender. So we went bareback or topless for this trip, and still had a great time. I see why a lot of people enjoy riding their Onewheel without a fender. It just looks really cool, showing off that big fat wheel. So as I was cruising around the park, I kind of lost sense of direction. I thought I was heading back south towards our hotel near South Central Park, but unbeknownst to me, I was actually heading up north. And if you've spent any time on a Onewheel, you know it's really easy to lose sense of time just because you're having so much fun cruising. And so that happened to me. I lost sense of time, I lost sense of direction, and I lost sense of how much battery I had. And so I eventually ended up running out of battery. It was going uphill, and I didn't video this, but I was going uphill. I sensed a tremendous pushback. So I got off my board, and I when I tried to get back on, it would not engage. It had died, and even though it still had about 17% on it. So here I am with my dead Onewheel, showing you this is Central Park. I am way up there by that red circle where it says you are here. You probably can't see it, but that red circle says you are here, where I am supposed to be way down there because our hotel is by Columbus Circle. So I had to walk into Harlem. I found a place that would let me charge. While I was charging at this condo complex, I walked around and I was able to video some of the sights there in Harlem. And so that was about 30 minutes before I had a full charge. I tipped the doorman for letting me use his outlet, and then I hopped back on my Onewheel to go meet my wife, because by this time she had woken up. She was texting me, "Where are you?" And then she was at breakfast. Breakfast ended at 9, and so I just asked her to pick me up some stuff, and I raced home. So here I am on my way home, and finally I would get to the hotel to meet my wife. So she wasn't upset at all. It gave her time to sleep in, enjoy a nice breakfast. While I ate my breakfast, we charged the Onewheel. I changed clothes, and then we went back into Central Park. This time, we rented a bike for my wife, and you can see her riding up ahead. We were able to negotiate with some of the people renting bikes on the street, and I think they were advertising $15 an hour. We were able to talk them into giving us the bike, plus the helmet, plus a lock for $30 for the whole day. So, not too shabby if you ask me. So this was a great time. We went around the park, not once, but twice. It was so much fun. It was just fun to people watch, to enjoy the weather. It was a beautiful day, enjoy the scenery. Just a lot of fun. So you may be wondering, well, if you ran out of batteries just doing half the park, how on earth were you able to go around the park twice on your Onewheel Plus? Well, I posted on the Facebook Onewheel Owners group that I had run out of juice while on this ride in Central Park, and one of the people in the group responded saying, "Hey, you should be using this map." And this person shared with me a link to a map of New York City of all the public outlets that are available to me, and there are some in New York City. And so here I am at one of the locations in Central Park. It's kind of the park authority or ranger headquarters, and here you have this there are a couple outlets where you can plug in, and here I am charging my board. About a 20 to 30 minute break, and while you're charging you can go use the restroom. They also have basketball courts if you want to go play basketball. Some kids were playing basketball, and you can talk to the park officials. But a nice place to charge up. And the only reason I knew of this place was because I was able to get that map from the kind person on the Onewheel Owners group. And so I'll have a link to that in the description below so you can learn more about that. So after charging up, we continued our ride, and again, it was just a lot of fun. A beautiful day. We spent a couple hours in Central Park just cruising around. And so, while on the Onewheel, I did note that there are several things that you need to be prepared for when you are going to Onewheel in crowded conditions in a big city like New York City. And one of the things I had to practice, or I was forced to practice and learn, was to be able to one-wheel in place, kind of like you're floating in place or you're treading water. You'll need to have this skill when you're in crowded conditions, at street corners, waiting to cross the street when there's a red light. Just if you're on the sidewalk in a big crowd, you'll need to have that skill. So here we are exiting the park. And so the reason why that skill is important is because you are not going to have very much room to jump off your board because of all the people around. And because of the Onewheel and the way it attracts attention, everyone is going to be staring at you. Everyone's going to be watching. And so you've got all the eyes on you, and you're trying to hover there in place, and it can be tough. And so here I am, just kind of cruising around, and here's a young fellow performing on the streets. But all I have to say is New York City is a great place. Central Park in particular is a great place to ride your Onewheel. You can learn more on my website if you want at oneradwheel.com, and in the next video I will be showing you footage from our Times Square adventures. Thanks for watching.